I'm going down to the drugstore, buy a big old skeiny yarn. I'm gonna knit me a kitten, even if you don't give a darn.
Hi, welcome to my craft room and this episode of the We Are Yarn podcast. My name's Amanda. I am your host today, as usual. Welcome to my craft room. We're back in here today. It is, maybe half an hour before I have to leave to go to work. And I just had a few things. I hadn't talked to you in a while. Wanted to say hi. And I had a few things I wanted to show you. So, let's get to it. I am chugging down. I'm getting preloaded for work tonight. I'm a little tired today. It is Saturday, September 29. So first, let me show you. I am participating in hosting a faded knit along. Any of the patterns by guys, I'm horrible with names. Andrea Mallory or Andrea Mallory, depending. On any of those faded patterns, So Faded, What the Fade, Find Your Fade, Free Your Fade. Let me show you. I actually started my So Faded. This is not even the full cast on. I started casting on while my child was taking a bath one day, and before I could get 70 some odd stitches cast on, he was ready to get out of the tub, so that's all I got done. I planned to get further. I believe Silly Fruit of the Sassy Pants Knitter podcast and Caffeinated Gert of the Caffeinated Crafting podcast, we're going to be ending their fade-alongs, I think, in October. I think I'm going to drag mine on out through November. You scragglers, scraggle along with me, because hadn't even started, really. I mean, I'm not even cast on all the way. I do have up for grabs Andrea Mallory. I reached out to her, and she is graciously donating a pattern to a winner. So, believe any of her patterns that are available for purchase on Ravelry. But before the end of the knit along, I will verify that with her, okay? I read, see, it's horrible being busy and having a million different things to do. I read her response in my email on my phone in the middle of something, and I haven't gotten, when I have an opportunity to sit down and reach back out to her and clarify it, I don't think to, because I'm doing other things. You know, that's just how it is. So, let's get on with it. I did have a new viewer on YouTube. Hi! If you're new, I guess I should say, I am available on iTunes, We Are Yarn Podcast, but also on YouTube. I load up to YouTube first, so if you just want to be on the cutting edge of We Are Yarn action, YouTube is the place to be. It takes me several days to go through the process of getting it up on iTunes, but yeah, that's where we are. But so a new viewer on iTunes asked for more crochet content, and I gotta give you what you want. So I'm making a jump start on some Christmas crafting, and I pulled out crochet cotton and a wee tiny hook. There it is, wee tiny hook. This is a 1.5 millimeter hook, so that I could lovingly crochet. It hasn't been blocked yet, but I am going to stiffen this out to give as a Christmas gift. So there's this blog, The Snowcatcher, and if you go look on my project page, you'll see this project, and you know, obviously through Ravelry it links to her patterns, but she has snowflake, I don't know, Mondays or Fridays, I don't know, but she has a lot of really pretty free snowflake patterns, and this one I think is Pike's Peak, maybe, I don't recall, but isn't it lovely? I crocheted this while watching Hidden Figures with my husband. If that hadn't been such a phenomenal movie that I kept putting my crochet down to watch, I probably could have gotten it done a lot faster than those 2 hours, but that's how long that took me. I love these. I love crocheting little things like this because they're so pretty, but they don't take much time at all. So there's my crochet for the week. You'll probably see several more of those coming in the future. And finally, so this is the big thing I wanted to talk about. So fall is coming. It's actually really cool. There's a breeze the last couple of days. You know, the temperature has been measuring as higher, you know, in the 80s Fahrenheit, but the wind is cool. I can feel fall blowing in, and back in the spring, like early before spring, I cast on this shawl because I wanted something in red that I could wear around my neck. I wanted to wear something red, specifically in the fall. I have like this chambray kind of tunic length shirt dress thing that I like to wear with leggings, black leggings and some brown boots, and I feel very spiffy in it, but I wanted something red. I wanted a red accessory, is what you call that. And so I had remembered knitting this pattern in very short time back in the day. Oslo Walk Shawl. It's a Susanna IC pattern. It was in Interweave Knits Winter 2010. And I had knitted it before and I really liked it, and it was a really quick knit. And so I pulled out this beautiful yarn. It's Shangri-La from Bijou Basin. They generously donated this to the podcast several years ago, and I had just been waiting on the perfect moment, the perfect pattern. So I had both of these in my stash, the pattern and the yarn, for a very long time. I don't know why I never thought to put them together, but here we are. So I cast this on. I cast it on I think they're even still in the back, yeah. I cast it on these cubics, on a size 7 cubic. Knitter's Pride. I do love the cubics, really, guys. I really do. They're amazing. However, if you're working lace weight lace, these didn't work for me. And I didn't know why. I didn't want to be working on it. And I thought that it was mama brain, right? All you mamas out there, you know mama brain. I recently even, I don't know, I read an article about they've done some imaging studies of new moms several times in measured time frames out from when they're pregnant and through after they give birth, and they did find that the gray and white matter in your brain did change, but that after 2 years it would usually have come back to normal. And I was beginning to feel like I was never going to come back for normal. I was like, is this my new normal? I don't know, but I just feel dumb all the time. And you guys that have been with me a while know that I love lace. I love knitting lace. It's my jam. I can do it, and I can read. It used to come so easy to me. And when I cast this on, you see, I mean, it's all lace all the time, right? You cast on 300 plus stitches, and then you're working a blue billion pattern repeats, and I was getting very frustrated because I would sit down to try to do it, and it's like my brain would not kick into gear, and it just felt so hard, and I didn't understand why, and it was just so frustrating. And so it had sat in this sweet little bag for a long, long time. And finally I was chatting it up with my knitters, and we were discussing our poor pushed to the side projects that we really loved, and we wanted the end result. We were being project knitters. We were knitting for the end project. We wanted that item. And we just couldn't make ourselves work on it. Like we had a block, and we discussed it, and she felt, she ended up changing her stitch markers and maybe her needles, but I think her stitch markers were the thing that did it. And all of a sudden her project was like knitting itself. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to change my needles. Maybe my needles are a problem. So, as you can see, I switched from the cubics to my Likeys that became available after I finished that starting point. And I did this I think I did that the day my child turned 2. So I'd been a mommy for exactly 2 years, to the day. And maybe my gray matter worked itself out. All of a sudden, on the 2-year anniversary of me giving birth to my child. Because all of a sudden, it was easy. And I want to say it's because I hit that magic time period. I really think it was the needles. So you can have needles. Moral of this story, children, my knitters, you may love your needles, but your needles may not love your project. But I mean, guys, I went gangbusters on this thing. And just, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw oh my gosh, I just finished the lace portion. Now I'm in the short row section. You do the lace and then short rows to shape it. And so it's very interesting on the needles. This is the right side. But just to show you the middle of it here, all bunched up there. But there's my lovely lace. I am so tickled, and it's going to be perfect. It's exactly the red I wanted. It's so lovely. So the one thing I'm changing, because can't leave well enough alone, I've already knit this once, and I don't repeat knits, but you see in the picture here how there's, here, let me get these other needles. Alright, you see how there's lacy bits all up right there, see? That go all the way up to the top of the shawl, the neck edge of the shawl. I had defeated the lace portion, and I was not interested in knitting any more lace. Even though it was just a yarn over slip slip knit 4. Wasn't interested. So I'm just doing that stockinette and just back and forth. It did take me several backs and forths to figure out how to mark my short rows so that I know I can just put this down at any time and pick it up and kind of have an idea of where I am. So, because I do have a toddler, we do spend it, because it's such beautiful weather right now, we do spend a lot of time outside playing with the bubble machine and sidewalk chalk and getting on the swing like you do. And so when he's playing in the bubbles, the way he plays with bubbles is runs back and forth through them and then stops and pops some occasionally and tries to catch one with his mouth, and then he runs back and forth. And that doesn't take a lot of interaction from mommy, so I can sit and just knit stockinette. So I needed a way, but if he wants to swing, I have to help him swing. So I needed to figure out a system, and I'm not going to go into that and bore you. I'm just pretty much just putting markers, instead of placing markers like she suggested in the pattern, I'm just marking where my last turn was. I marked my last turn, and then I know what I'm doing. Yeah. So that's all I really had to talk about. I did talk at one point about how I had, did I talk about this? How I had wound up some Desert Vista dye works. I believe this is her homage to Doctor Who. It's called the Wild One. So I balled this up. I still need to go back with my the thing that weighs things. Maybe my gray matter isn't all the way resettled yet. Scale, my kitchen scale, and weigh it out into 2 equal parts. I knit 2 at a time. I even have my sock rockets because he wants more socks. I'm going to knit them for Christmas. But I need to figure out what, I want to do a contrasting toe and heel, and I just need to figure out what contrast I want to use. I have all sorts. I'm looking directly above your head right now at my basket of leftovers, and I see 2 happy-go-luckies right off the bat. I see a brown and I see a green with sparkles. My husband is into fun socks right now, and maybe the green with sparkles will be pretty fun. And I think it would, you know, the last couple of doctors have had green. Well, Matt Smith's sonic screwdriver was green, so that'll, or, you know, brown is always a good option, but not as fun. I don't know. But anyway, it's 17. Okay, so it is 2:17. I have to leave my house at 2:30 to make it to my work at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for spending these few minutes with me. I hope you have an amazing, however long it is until I see you again, faded knit along, running through, let's just run it through October too. Let's just do it. I'm doing it. Faded along through October. And thanks for playing. If you're playing along with me, I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
I just can't wait to finish. I got the kitten knitting blues. No, I just can't wait to finish. That's why I got those kitten knitting blues.